What's up, everybody? This is Carrick with ACG. Whether you're thinking about getting Watch Dogs or going to get it or already playing it, there's three facets to this system that I want to talk about that are a little bit like the Nemesis system in Lord of the Rings. And yes, you're going to see me use a turret on top of a car right now. This is something that a lot of people don't realize you can do, but you can put this on top of a car. You can even actually put one on top of a car, take over the car, drive it inside of a building and let it attack people while you stand outside and just, watch the anarchy. If you like these videos, please subscribe. So there's three parts to this system that Legion actually has. And regardless of me having issues with the game, I actually think these three parts of the system are great. You have your deep scan or your schedule, which I'll talk about in a bit. You've got the various different fluid ways in which you can use cross items and cross techniques from the characters themselves, and you have their major active or passive skills. I'm going to talk about all of those. And here we go. If you watch the review, you know one of my faves is old Jimbo. So he's got a police contact, shorter team arrest time. When your people get arrested, if they don't get killed, they will end up having a period of time where they are unusable. What happens with Jim is he has this police contact, shorter time for them being arrested, and they'll end up getting out of prison more quickly. This can be very helpful. You know what? Jim isn't super helpful as a character overall, but I like him. He was my number one guy. Looking at some of these other guys and their takedown thief, a lot of these are sort of overlapping just for themselves. They don't necessarily do a lot for other characters on the team. One thing to remember, though, is if you're smart in the way you set up missions, you can actually overlap their skills. For example, she's very good at hacking. You could send her in first to hack the outside areas and then send your battle-hardened dude like this guy with his evasive dodge in right after. Now, looking at characters like the Construction, this is just sort of the character subset that we're talking about just for a moment. This character can, of course, infiltrate different areas, but if you see there, he's got cargo drone. I want to talk about cargo drones and drones in particular, as you saw already with the turret. So I'm going to switch to him. With the cargo drone, there are a couple little things you can do that sometimes work. They don't always work, but he has the ability to call a cargo drone. Now, in some areas, there just aren't any, and the cargo drones are the big ones. They're the ones that you can put the turret on, and they're the ones that you can ride. So when he calls them, sometimes you can switch characters and that cargo drone will be there. You'll know it won't be there if you hear it flying away when you're loading another character. I've actually found that there is a way to basically always keep the cargo drone in the area or have a higher chance, and that's to smash the cargo drone down like between two buildings where it basically can't get a flight path to leave. Doesn't always happen. Jumping into Gary for a second, he's a character that I like overall. He's sort of up close and personal. He's only got one skill, so he's not super useful. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go fishing a little bit for skills. So understanding now a little bit how skills can overlap. For example, you can perchance go in with a character, take somebody out, do some hacking, and then leave and come into the same mission with a different character who's maybe better for up close. But what we also want to do is we want to look at these character skills and see if any help passively. Now, there's multiple skills that do this, and you'll see it popping up on my screen quite a bit, which is gambling. Some of the characters will gamble. I've noticed that they most of the time don't lose money. Most of the time they end up gaining money. So when you look at these and you start checking out their skills, boom, randomly gambles ETO. So that's a character that can passively help you. However, there's some also great skills that can work in a group. For example, Howard has Rally Cry. This is vital at some points, especially on more difficult leveling where you can call people in to help you. So looking at this, famous, noticed in public. Now you might think that's not really that useful. It's actually very useful. If you take that character and you go to an area where you're going to do a mission and then you switch out characters, he will walk away. But because he's noticed in public, there is a chance he will distract somebody if that's what you're hoping to do. And you have to think like that in the game. Now, jumping into this and looking at the deep scan for a second and understanding how everything works. When a character's got one thumbs down, you can still recruit them. When they've got two, you can't, like this. So you can go into their deep scan and you can see the various different possibilities for interacting with them. And you can see here there's not a lot of overlap except for guarding at New Scotland Yard that they've got with some of the other characters that I personally want to check out. You'll see the deep scan always ends up tracking their schedule for each day. However, his friend is also there. Now, this is interesting, and I wasn't actually aware of this until about a couple hours in. You can get blamed for things. So negatives can pop up. Example here, got blamed for DedSec freeing their prisoner. You can also get a bunch of people to hate you if you go into an area, let's say, and hack it and steal stuff, and they see you. If you do it and they don't see you, those negatives won't apply. And also check that profile to see what exactly has happened. Has it a positive interaction with a member? Also see a lot of characters coming up with extra faction damage. Also very useful if you're in a higher difficulty or you have something like, let's say, the ability for permadeath, which can be a disaster if you're not necessarily prepared for it. So we've got a little primer there. We understand that negative things that happen around some of these characters can impact them negatively and cause them to dislike you, or positively. So always remember, it can go both ways. However, one of the more interesting parts of this game is they've made sure that there's a soft radius around any named buildings of characters with that kind of skill. For example, we are right now in front of the courthouse and boom, legal assistant. A bunch of lawyers will be out front, a bunch of administrators, and you'll see that the closer up, the more skills they have. Unfortunately, flagellants. Like I said, not all skills are positive. Hard drinker, extra melee damage. I just love these kind of things. But the closer you are to a police station, more police-style jobs. That is very important to remember if you're fishing for different things that you want when it comes to the skills, to make out your team and make them actually matter. Now, looking at these specialty characters almost always have all of their skills lined up. This drone expert will have all drone skills. Why is that important? Because though the game does track the various different sort of class a character is, like a vendor, and gives them a particular thing that they do, for example, practices Krav Maga, which then leads down to how you end up fighting. When it comes to the specialized characters, everything for them will be matched, set, perfect. It's almost like getting that nice gun and having every bit and part customized just for you. That's the way these characters are made up. You'll see here, Shopaholic randomly buys clothes. Those clothes will actually appear in your outfit area for you to end up wearing. Lots of different stuff that you can do. Again, the deep scan, vital for understanding the schedule, understanding that every action you make, positive and negative, can all overlap, and understanding that a character like this with a shot grenade launcher, hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to throw some people into the grinding mill of war. It happens. I would end up taking one or two people, recruits that just didn't really have a skill. Maybe they had a nice car, a fast one, and I knew that there was a getaway kind of mission, or maybe they had a grenade launcher and I needed it. Sometimes you got to do that. It's all about how you want to treat it and how you take all this in. Those are the three sections, really, when it comes down to it. The main skills, the passive skills that overlap with everybody, and of course, what is vital, at least to me, is understanding how the scheduling works and wherever you go, the location mattering. Also, always keep in mind that recent events are continually tracked. You'll see 3 greens here. There's a couple characters that I have like 5 or 6 green recent events, which of course are positive, and a couple negatives. Now, I haven't particularly gone out and tried to get a double negative character, one that cannot be recruited, and work the people around him to get him to be positive towards DedSec. I would assume it is possible. What I'd like to know from you guys is, what skills are you finding that overlap? What do you like? What do you dislike? What are you finding with the profile that works for you? I think for me, the game may have its issues, but this system itself, I actually like it better than the Nemesis system, where you don't have a friggin' orc just showing up who's not able to be lit on fire because you ended up not killing him quick enough. Here, what you have is a system that just really, to me, feels a little bit more fleshed out, even if you do have to, well, you know, turn off your logic center just for a bit. That's it for me. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you didn't. Check out the review, subscribe, maybe join the Patreon. Peace out. And I'm going to go check out, investigating a crypto farming operation. I love the fact that you go there and he's at that crypto farming operation. There's just something about that feels like everything sort of overlaps correctly. Oh, anyway, that's it for me. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Week. Whatever. Week.